The government told the Australian public that the Afghanistan Inquiry Oversight Panel was established to provide accountability and transparency.
This panel will provide oversight of the defence response to the inquiry. It will also provide assurance to the government and to me as Minister, and also to all Australians, that this report is being implemented as all Australians would expect it to be. Accountability will be the cornerstone of Defence's response to this inquiry.
Ultimately, the Oversight panel will be the government's and the public's independent body to ensure that Defence is making the changes recommended by the inquiry to help ensure we can address any underlying issues. Its role will be an essential part of ensuring ongoing confidence in our Defence Force.
Over the past few years, and following multiple FOI requests, Defence has reluctantly released heavily redacted versions of 11 of the Oversight Panel's reports. On the 22nd of December, we requested the final Oversight Panel report. Despite Defence previously releasing all of the panel's previous reports, Defence has refused to release any part of the final Oversight Panel report. This is from Defence's decision.
I am the authorised officer pursuant to Section 23 of the FOI Act to make a decision on this FOI request. I have identified one document as falling within the scope of the request. I have decided to refuse access to one document on the grounds that the document is considered exempt under Section 47C of the FOI Act. I have considered disclosing the document to you with deletions, but have decided to refuse access to the document as it would be meaningless and of little or no value once the exempt material is removed. The Oversight Panel is expected to provide full and frank views to the Minister on the subject matter in order to inform ministerial decision-making. Were such material to be made public, this could reasonably be expected to prejudice the ability of Defence to obtain such frank opinion and advice in the future. Given the document concerns a significant reform programme, the inability to obtain frank opinions and advice could reasonably be expected to prejudice the operations and personnel management of Defence. While I accept there is public interest in ensuring that Defence undertakes its functions in a transparent and proper manner, there is also a strong public interest in maintaining confidentiality of the material contained within the document, particularly those still under consideration by a Minister.
Defence says its decision to refuse to release the report is in the public interest. Defence also says releasing it could jeopardise the receipt of future advice. This is despite the fact that the Oversight Panel's role has ended. The decision-maker for our FOI application is Catherine Wallace. She is a legal officer in the Royal Australian Air Force. She was previously part of the IGADF. She was called to give evidence at the Royal Commission into Defence and Veteran Suicide.
Commissioners, the next witness is Group Captain Wallace. Group Captain Wallace is the Director of the Directorate of Inquiries and Investigations within the IGADF. So what safeguards exist to ensure that conflicts of interest don't arise in relation to your staff and matters in respect of which they're conducting an assessment or an inquiry?
Yes, so there's a couple of things. The first one is that annually, everybody who works in our office has to make a conflict of interest declaration to the Inspector General. So we need to advise of anything in our personal, financial, other situation that might lead to a conflict in any matter that we do.
In the 2023 King's Birthday Honours, Wallace was awarded the Conspicuous Service Medal.
Awarded the Conspicuous Service Medal, Group Captain Catherine Wallace, for devotion to duty in managing inquiries and investigations in the Office of the Inspector General of the Australian Defence Force. She currently leads a directorate in the Office of the Inspector General, where she deals with a range of matters ranging from abuse of power, harassment and bullying, domestic and family violence, and alleged criminal conduct. Group Captain Wallace's commitment and diligence has enabled the Inspector General's office to achieve meaningful outcomes for its clients. Group Captain Catherine Wallace awarded the Conspicuous Service Medal.
Just one other issue from me, Group Captain. You've had a long and illustrious career. Where do you, if you are able to comment, where do you see yourself going when you won't be there forever, obviously. Where would you go next? Back to an operational area or
No, I've actually been I'm being promoted at the end of the year and appointed to lead the Afghanistan task force.
okay, thank you.
Angus Campbell issued a joint directive establishing and setting out the principles of the ARTF.
The AIRTF operates to promote appropriate transparency of the defence response to the inquiry so that individual and organisational accountability is clear to stakeholders, while preserving the independence of organisations and agencies pivotal to the defence response, and in ensuring the welfare of our people is always prioritised. The work of the AIRTF will be undertaken in alignment with 5 key principles: transparency, accountability, independence, welfare, and agility. Transparency. To the fullest extent possible within legal, privacy, and security restraints, the AIRTF is to ensure transparency to government and the Australian people.
This is Catherine Wallace's signature on her decision on our FOI application, dated the 19th of February 2024. This is her signature on an unrelated FOI application decision 5 days earlier. What is missing from her signature is the fact that she is the Director General of the Afghanistan Inquiry Response Task Force, the very organisation within Defence that the panel was overseeing and reporting on. She has decided that the Australian public cannot see what the Oversight panel has to say about the work of her office.
We've heard submissions that there is at least a perception that the IGADF is too embedded within Defence. That in effect, the office is akin to helping the ADF to mark their own homework.
How did you confront the fact that there was a very obvious conflict of interest? Sure. I mean, if I say to my kids they can mark their own homework, you know, they're very ethical children, I'm sure they do a very good job, but you could see the conflict of interest there, and you were basically marking your own homework.
Yes, so, Senator, I get it, Senator. I could see the perception of the conflict of interest.